Hello, beautiful people. So for today's dance class, what I am going to teach you guys is how to use breath to initiate movement. And I'm pretty sure in at least one of my other pre-recorded YouTube dance videos, I've talked about this, about breath initiating movement and how you should be breathing and things like that. But today I'm going to show you guys an exercise that's super simple, but the more you practice this, the more improvement you're going to notice in your movement, in all types of movement. This will help you even with exercising, not necessarily dance movement, any type of movement that you're doing. Because in order for our muscles to work, we need oxygen, right? So breath is one of those things that we take for granted and we kind of just tend to forget because we're running on autopilot a lot of the times, right? So this exercise, I'm going to break it down into two parts. We're going to expand on it on the second part and add a little more complexity to it. But even then, it's still pretty simple, but it's just a general exercise to get you used to using breath to initiate your movement. And this exercise will, in general, help you remember to breathe while you're dancing, because that's a very common problem that dancers have. While we're on stage or while we're in dance class, while we're rehearsing, we forget to breathe. And a lot of times, this is because we either get nervous or we're so focused on getting something right. That goes for any type of performance that you're doing, right? Whether it's music, whether you're singing or you're acting, we tend to focus so much on trying to be perfect and trying to get it right and trying to please the teacher or the choreographer or the audience that we forget the most basic necessity, and that is to breathe. If you're not breathing enough, especially while you're doing physical activity and things that require more thinking, more focus, it affects your body physically. You may start to get more nauseous. You may start to get more anxiety. You'll feel your muscles tighten up. It's harder to move. And the less oxygen you're getting in your body, the less oxygen you're getting into your brain. So then that affects your memory. So it affects you remembering your lines, remembering your dance moves, all these things. So forgetting to breathe and not breathing properly really affects your entire performance and who you are as an artist, just in general. So we're taking it back to the basics. We're just going to talk about breath today, okay? So for this first part of the exercise, I'd rather you be sitting down for this than standing up. So wherever you're sitting, you can be sitting on the floor like me. You can be sitting on a chair, somewhere that you feel comfortable to start off with, okay? And then the more you practice this exercise, the easier it is to do it anywhere. But for now, just make sure you feel comfortable where you're at, okay? So I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna make sure I'm completely relaxed. And we're gonna start off by just taking a couple deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, okay? With each breath, just imagine your muscles relaxing more and more and more. Okay, so in one of the videos I think I did do an exercise with breath initiating movement. But this time I'm gonna go into it a little bit more in depth. This is one of those techniques that changed my life as a dancer, and it really greatly improved how I danced, specifically ballroom dance. But of course, this will improve any type of dance style that you're doing. But the concept of breath and breathing with your partner while you're dancing, it really, really helped make me stronger. It helps make me more balanced and everything. So I'm going to go into it more in depth than I did in the previous video. I think it was probably a couple of weeks ago or maybe last month that I did a video about breath initiating movement. So we're going to start off with, you're going to take your hands and you're going to put them on either side of your rib cage, okay, right under your chest. So if you feel your rib cage, you should feel those bones right there. Yeah, on either side. So right here, you're gonna place your hands right there, sitting up nice and tall. So first, what you're gonna do is you're gonna breathe it into both sides of the rib cage. So you should feel your chest and your stomach expanding. You should feel those bones moving and expanding out this way, okay? So I want you to focus on that. So let's do that 3 times. Ready? And in. And expand again. So if you notice, the more you focus on expanding specifically your rib cage, the deeper your breath can become and the more air that you notice you're breathing in. Okay, so it's very psychological. So now what I want you to do is imagine yourself breathing into one side of the rib cage more than the other. Okay, so you can pick either side. I'm gonna breathe more into this side. And when I do that, you're gonna notice this side is reaching more than this side, okay? So I'm gonna think that and imagine it, and then I'm gonna translate it into my body, okay? Ready? Two more times. Okay, so if you notice, I had my eyes closed, but I could feel that I didn't really move that far. But if you notice, you could see, here I'm gonna have my eyes open this time. So you can even see how my hands are moving apart and this one is starting to reach more this way. So naturally, as I'm imagining that, I can feel this side of my rib cage opening up more and it's affecting my back. So now I'm reaching a little more that way than this way, okay? So I just wanted to do a subtle movement. Of course, you can make that much bigger and more dramatic and exaggerated. But for now, we're just gonna do subtle differences because I really want you to focus on the small parts of your body, those smaller muscles, those smaller joints, and the importance of learning how to isolate those parts and connect them to what you're imagining in your mind. Because everyone, sees dance and thinks it's just extremely physical, which it is, but a huge part of it is in your mind. It's a psychological game that you have with yourself. Most of our blockages, if we're struggling with something, it comes in our mind. It's not necessarily in our body. It's not necessarily our body inhibiting it, okay? So now I'm gonna do the other side just to even it out, make sure we're even. So I'm gonna do 3 breaths going this way, okay? Ready? And breath. And second one. And the third one. Okay. So, the reason why I'm having you guys isolate and breathe more into one part of your body is because when you're moving, say the choreographer or your own choreography is requiring you to just move one part of your body, for example. So your arm. So I'm gonna take this arm and I'm gonna reach it up like this. I'm gonna move this way so you can see better. And then I'm gonna lower it down, okay? Super simple, super basic movement, right? So I'm gonna show you the difference between just moving it and using my breath to initiate that movement. And I want you to see the difference in the quality of that movement, okay? So we're getting super detailed now, but these are the kinds of things, these are the type of techniques that separate a good dancer from a great dancer. And it makes a huge difference in the entire performance. So watch. First time I'm gonna do this is just a regular dance movement. I'm not gonna think too much about breath. Of course I'm breathing, but I'm not focusing on using that breath to create my movement, okay? Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, simple, right? Still looks pretty good, but now I'm gonna focus on using my breath to initiate that movement and then watch a difference. You're gonna even notice how even more parts of my body actually get involved to create that one movement. So watch. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is rewatch that part a few times if you want to. And I want you to come up with all the differences, like make a little list. You can write it down, or you can think about it in your mind. A list of differences between those two movements. So the first time I lifted my arm and brought it back down, I wasn't thinking too hard about it. The second time I wasn't thinking hard about it either, but it was a different type of focus, right? So I was just going through the motions, okay? I was creating a dance movement, but I was just going through the motion. The second time, I focused on using my breath to initiate the movement, okay? So I want you to think about it and watch that over a couple of times and practice that for yourself. And whatever type of dance movement you like to do, whatever type of dance style, the next time you're dancing in front of the mirror, or for this, I would like you to see yourself in front of the mirror while you're doing it, whether you're freestyling, whether you're working on choreography. I want you to, this time, watch yourself doing it with a focus on using your breath to initiate, to start the movement. So take that deep breath in first, and then use it to make your body move, and notice the difference that it makes in how you're moving and the quality of the movement. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be a slow, deep breath. It can be a sharp breath if you want to create sharp movement. I'm not going into a lot of detail with that right now. I may do that in another video, but notice the difference in how your muscles react and how they work and how they stretch, how they elongate, how it actually makes you reach farther, how it actually makes you more flexible, how it makes you stronger. It improves whatever quality that you're trying to go for in your performance and how you're moving. It's going to just amplify it. All right, thanks you guys.